Do you like playing with balls? No, I'm not talking about footballs. I mean your balls. Our friends at Manscaped, the global leaders in below the waist grooming, want you to shave your pubes with the Tom Brady of ball trimmers, the brand new Lawnmower 4.0. Only the GOAT technology for the greatest balls of all time. When you're going towards the end zone, make sure you use the right tools for the job and choose Manscaped. 2 million men worldwide trust them, so join the movement with our exclusive offer by using code DTR at manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping.
Stafford under pressure, gonna tuck it in. He's in. Darrell Henderson, he's off and running. As Woods, touchdown. Cooper Kupp just went up and took it away.
Van Jefferson for the touchdown.
Aaron Donald smothers him. Jalen Ramsey put the pop on. Sacked by Leonard Floyd, having a day again.
Darius Williams with a diving hit. Jordan Fuller comes up with his second interception of the night.
All right, guys, welcome back to Downtown Rams. As always, I'm your host, Alexis Kraft, joined here with my co-host, Jake Ellenbogen. And guys, with the NFL season here, you need a sportsbook with integrity and longevity like BetUS. You may already know this, but BetUS has been pioneers in the sportsbook industry for almost 3 decades, thriving and paying their loyal customer base. That is betus.com, and they have loads of bonuses. Join now or call 800-69-BET-US. That's 800-MY-BET-US. You receive a 125% sign-up bonus by using bonus code RAMS125. They have re-up and referral bonuses also. BetUS is known as America's favorite sportsbook for a lot of reasons. BetUS has all your NFL games with team and player props and loads of futures. You can bet UFC matches, props, PGA golf, round matchups, and live betting on most sports as well. The online casino has hundreds of games, and the racebook has all your horse tracks. They have every bet type imaginable, and the sharp BetUS mobile platform is easy with full betting options. Follow my lead and get your phone, online, and social sports betting partner with integrity and longevity like I did. BetUS. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS. All right, Jake. We are coming to everyone live today with a mailbag episode. We are answering some last-minute mailbag questions before the game this upcoming weekend. You have all of those ready and available, so let's get to it.
Sounds good. We'll start off with the Discord, and we'll go over to Twitter. We have Ben Boom on Discord. If you can delegate out 5 Rams touchdowns for this game to different players, which players do you predict to score them? I think this is a cool, creative question. We'll start with you.
So do they have to be 5 different players or just 5 touchdowns spread like evenly? Can one player have more than one, or are we doing 5 different players?
It looks like for this game, 2 different players. Okay. So it looks like it'll be 5 different players.
Okay, so I'm assuming this is... Okay, so we'll go Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Darrell Henderson. I'm going Tyler Higbee. I'm going Jake Funk over Sony Michel. That one's a passion pick for me.
Okay. All right.
Obviously, Sony Michel is probably the smarter pick there, realistic pick, but I'm going Jake Funk.
All right. Well, I'm going to go Deshaun Jackson, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Darrell Henderson, and I think that's 4 already. And then I'm going to go with just one because, I don't know, just for the culture, we'll go with Terrell Burgess, pick 6. So that's what I have.
I didn't even think about defense.
Yeah. So moving on, we have Scoot. Which jersey swap do you want to see the most? I think he's talking about, when they swap jerseys at the end of the game. That's a good question. I didn't really even think about that.
I know.
You do.
For me, I love a good Aaron Donald, Khalil Mack jersey swap.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
2 defensive stars. Love to see it.
Yeah, I like the idea of Fields swapping with Stafford. I think, I don't know if that'll happen, but I like the idea of that happening. So, plus they should be starting Fields anyway, just kind of a shameless plug in there to start Justin Fields. Anyway, So then we have JD Trev. What would you say the Rams' floor is this year as far as success goes? We're all hopeful the Rams win the Super Bowl, but I feel like they have to get the NFC title game at the very least for this to be considered a good year.
Yeah, I typically agree. I think that a lot has been put into the Rams this season. I mean, we trade for Stafford, we make the draft picks that we did, we acquire who we did, etc. I think they're all in this year. So I think anything less than an NFC title game would be considered a quote unquote failure, which sounds weird to say because, a lot of teams play as well as they can and then the playoffs just don't go their way. But I just think that the Rams have put so much stock into this season. They really are kind of in a win now mode, which is what we've seen. So yeah, I agree. I'd probably say the NFC title game.
What I say might shock you. I'm going to say that the NFC title game would be a bust of a season, and here's why. They lost in the divisional round of the playoffs, and they really had a chance to win that game on the road with Jared Goff with 9 fingers available and a 30% healthy Aaron Donald that didn't play the full game, and no Cooper Kupp. So if what you're saying is, they go in and, they bring Matthew Stafford in, and who I believe is a monumental upgrade over Jared Goff, and they only get one round further, I don't think that's a winning season at all. I would probably say that's a huge disappointment. To me, it's Super Bowl or bust. And to me, I think it's Super Bowl win or bust because you've already been there, done that with the Super Bowl loss. Sean McVay can't go 0-2 in the Super Bowl. They have to win this year. I think, next year, if they win this year and then next year they fall early, fine. But I understand the teams are tough, but at this point, there's no excuse. I don't feel like the Rams have a ton of holes on this team. And so to me, it is absolutely Super Bowl or bust. Now, Scoot also asked if you had to compare the Chicago Bears and the LA Rams to fast food restaurants, which restaurant would they be? Oh, boy.
Okay, so Chicago, as a resident of the Chicago area, I'm going to compare the Chicago Bears to deep dish pizza. Sloppy, it's messy, falls apart, but it's still loved because it's a historic tradition. Much like the Bears have a very good fan base, a very loyal fan base that have stuck by them since the beginning, through the good, through the bad, great fans, but the team is kind of a mess. So we're going deep dish pizza. I'd say the Rams. Man. Okay, I'm trying to think of something like an LA. I'd say the Rams are like a cold pressed juice, any of your choosing, because they've got all the necessary ingredients that make something beneficial to you. They've got all the players, they've got all the talent, but does it taste good together? Does the combo taste good together? We don't know yet. We haven't tried the juice because this is a lot of new players, a new system, a new quarterback. But on paper, it's really good. On paper, it's really good for you. But this season, we're going to taste the juice. I'm going to see myself out now. Thank you for coming, everyone. Thanks.
Hashtag taste the juice, I guess, is going to be a thing probably on Twitter.
Killed it.
I would say for fast food restaurants, I'm going to say the Bears. The Bears is like a Wendy's, right? Especially the Clifton Park Wendy's, not to completely trash them. But, every now and then they'll get my order correctly, and then sometimes they won't. But I think that you could have a Wendy's never frozen beef burger and be like, wow, this is pretty good. And that's the potential of the Bears. But you could also get, a side where, your fries are cold or whatever. And just feel like the inconsistency is pretty much the Chicago Bears. And Andy Dalton is when, the Frosty machine is broken, and that's Andy Dalton in a nutshell as a quarterback. The LA Rams, I would probably say if you could call it Blaze Pizza a fast food, because that's like my go-to place. Like, I know I live in New York, but I love Blaze Pizza. I'd say either Blaze Pizza or I would say Five Guys, because Five Guys, I know what I'm getting every time. There's a level of consistency with the burger. They give you extra fries for the money. It's more expensive, but it's worth it. And so I would probably say Five Guys because you're looking at it's the stars. I mean, you have the hand spun old school milkshake that tastes amazing. You got the double cheeseburger. The cheese is amazing. The burger's amazing. That's like your stars. So I would probably say the difference between the Rams and the difference between the Rams and the Bears. You're talking about Wendy's versus Five Guys, and honestly Wendy's might be too high for the Bears. I'm just gonna say that right now, but that's what I'll say. I know everyone was like, say In-N-Out, but I can't do that.
Was it supposed to be fast food?
Yeah, fast food restaurants.
Okay.
You're just a weirdo and didn't get that. No,
I stand by my answer, even though it's supposed to be fast food. If I had known that, I probably would have said like In-N-Out because that's just very LA.
Here we go. In-N-Out.
But I've never actually had In-N-Out, and you don't like it, so we won't go there.
I think it's overrated. That's all.
Okay, sorry. Pizza's kind of fast food, though. It's generalized. The cold compress? No, but I stand by it.
Well, I mean, hey, you know what I'll say? Because you said pizza. The Rams are a nice New York City slice of pizza, New York style pizza. And the Bears are like their deep dish. If I wanted a lasagna, I would have ordered it. Anyway, the Rams starter you are least confident in is, and that's from Brian Allen Skeptic. I wonder who he's probably least confident in as far as starter. I'm going to say the least confident I am in a starter is Brian Allen Skeptic. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't think he can compete. But I'm not here sitting, Brian Allen down and being like, yeah, this guy is 100% a lock to come through and play big time. He is such a wait and see for me. He's the guy we'll know if he's legit in the first two games when he goes up against Eddie Goldman and Akeem Hicks. And then, week 2, he goes up against DeForest Buckner. But make no mistake about it. We don't know until we know. But what about you? Who's the least confident you are in a Rams starter right now?
Brian Allen.
Yeah, I figured. I mean, he's really all across the board. The Rams have a really good starting 22, but Brian Allen. I'm very not confident. Well, I have more confidence in him than I expected, but Brian Allen Skeptic is the greatest name ever. Ben Boom asks, what's the minimum points the Rams need to score / most points they allow the Bears to score for you to be satisfied?
We cannot let the Bears honestly score more than 14 points. Honestly, 7, but you never know. I in my predictions, the article that I wrote for Downtown Rams, where I predicted all of the Rams games, I have the Rams only allowing 7 points because I have the Rams winning 35-7. But sometimes there's always a touchdown towards the end where, it's whatever. And then as far as how many the Rams need to score, at least
for you to be satisfied, obviously
21
to
points.
win
At least
21.
Yeah. There's no
I want to see a statement game. I want to see them set a tone that Kurt Warner did with the Greatest Show on Turf, his debut against the Ravens. That's what I want to see. I want to see them come out and just show everyone, okay, this team is going to be a problem.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm giving some credit to the Bears defense. I mean, they're not kind of what they used to be, but they're solid. So I'm not thinking we're going to go out there and score 50 points. But at the same time, I think we should dominate the game. So it's not really about score for me. It's more about just performance and how we look. And, if the Bears defense makes a couple great plays, fine, good for them. But we should dominate the game. People should watch the game and come away with the fact that we were in control the entire time.
Yeah, I just don't look at this roster and think, the Bears. I don't know. I mean, I look at this roster and think that they're probably, a 6-7 win team. And so for a team that I believe is going to win 15 games in the Rams, I'd like to see them steamroll. I do think they will. I have 38-10. I've had that all week. I really think that Sean McVay is just going to come out firing like crazy. He's going to use Stafford like crazy, and they're going to blow him out. But I always say this: I've been on like 6 different Bears podcasts this week. And the thing I continue to say, the consistency here, Andy Dalton is not beating the Rams, but you don't know if Justin Fields could. So because they're not playing Justin Fields, I feel very confident in that this will be a blowout. But if they were to play him, the whole game and how you defend the quarterback position really changes. So that's something to keep an eye on. Thomas Gonzalez over on Twitter at LegendKiller813. Based off the first week of college football, who is a day 2 prospect y'all have your eyes on for us to draft? I didn't watch a ton of college football. I really just watched Alabama and Kansas. I know it's a very weird combination. But Alexis, do you have anyone that really stood out to you as far as a day 2 prospect next year?
Life is back on sports bettors, and BetUS has your NBA, NHL, UFC, PGA, and yes, NFL betting lines up on their 27th year and live betting on all of it. Log into BetUS, that is BETUS.com, or call 800-792-3887. That's 800-79-BETUS. BetUS for 125% bonuses with promo code RAMS125. Customer service pros are ready to get your phone, social, and online sports betting kickoff started now. Play with the proven mainstay in the industry, BetUS. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.com. Ready for an out-of-world experience, fellas? Look no further than the Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped. That has just taken off in not only the USA, but Canada, the UK, across Europe, Australia, South Africa, and Singapore. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your whole solar system in. First scheduled for liftoff, new Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, this spaceship is here to guide you on a journey to trim your body, balls, butt, and even your anus. This 4th generation trimmer also features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. Thanks to our advanced skin-safe technology, the Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor and a new multi-function on and off switch that can engage a travel lock and is even waterproof. The Lawnmower 4.0 also has a 4000K LED spotlight you can turn on and off when needed for a more precise shave throughout your travels across the universe. The Performance 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker. It's like having a little astronaut to chop your worst weeds up the top of your nose and your ears. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system. This nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. Don't forget about the Crop Preserver, ball deodorant, and the Crop Reviver to help your little planets be on their A-game while feeling the sun's heat. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Abort hairy balls, Buzz Lightyear, that Woody with Manscaped.
Possibly Jarrett Patterson, offensive lineman from Notre Dame.
Okay.
And because, to be honest, I didn't watch much. I watched, obviously, the Notre Dame game because I'm a Notre Dame fan. And then I watched, it's slipping my mind. There's another game that I watched. The really close one. I can't think of it. It was the first game that was on. It was Ohio State. I did watch Ohio State, saw some guys there, but one that comes to mind, like I said, it's Jarrett Patterson, the offensive lineman from Notre Dame, because he's very versatile. I think he's one of those guys that could probably play every position on the line, and he has for Notre Dame. He's literally played every position, I believe. So, yeah, just someone who I think might be a second round guy just because of how many other guys are going to come out in the draft next year who are maybe like more statement prospects, like really solid tackles, a couple solid guards, things like that I've just been like reading about and seeing. But in my opinion, I mean, with as versatile as he is, there's no reason why he shouldn't be a first round guy. I hope he's not, because I hope we have a chance at him. Because, you know, if the center position doesn't work out so much for us, we might be looking. So we'll see. But I'll have a lot more to say on prospects once I watch more college football.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, I don't think picking a Notre Dame offensive line is a bad idea. I mean, you look, they've added guys like Alex Bars and Hainsey and Eichenberg, however you say his name. You know, they've had plenty of guys. Aaron Banks is over in San Francisco, so
Some guy named Quentin
you know,
Nelson.
yeah, Quentin Nelson's a
Mike
pretty good player.
McGlinchey.
McGlinchey, yeah, he's good at football.
Martin.
There's another guy. What the hell? His name?
Ronnie Stanley.
Well, yeah, he's also pretty. Yeah. No,
Zach
there's
Newton.
the starting center for the Bears, Mustafer.
Yeah, I know.
I think he's starting.
Yeah,
I
he
think.
is. I didn't
Yeah.
think he was for some reason, but I was just on a Bears podcast, the Irish Bears podcast before this, and I brought up Alex Bars and Sam Mustafer, and they informed me Sam Mustafer won that job. He is starting
Yeah.
center.
And it looks like they kicked Cody Whitehair over to left guard.
Yep.
So
we'll
okay.
see. I mean, as much as I like Mustafer, I do hope he maybe has a tough start at center for his first game.
Well, he's going to go up against Aaron Donald, so
yeah, I mean,
welcome to the show, buddy.
Well, he was undrafted, I think.
Yeah,
so
undrafted in 2019.
Big opportunity for him.
Yeah, same year Alex Bars actually. They both signed.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think Aaron Donald gets more than 22.5 sacks this year? Asks Michael Elson at Michael Elson 10. And I thought this was in a completely different Twitter thread, so I stupidly answered this on Twitter. So apologies to you, Michael, but I know he listens to the show, so we'll answer this again. Alexis, do you think he gets more than 22.5 sacks, which would be the official record?
I'm going to say yes. I know it's a long shot. Realistically, the answer always has to be no. Whenever you look at a record or something, you have to think of what the odds are. Odds are probably not. Does he have obviously the potential and the talent to do so? Yes. And I think that what we're going to see, the hope is if people around him play well and draw more attention to themselves, that's going to open up more opportunity for Aaron Donald. Because I think part of the reason why he hasn't maybe had as big of numbers as people would think is because he's getting double and triple teamed, because these offenses don't think they need to pay attention to the other players in the Rams defense, because, you know, they're like, oh, it's fine, we'll let him go. But if they can't do that anymore because other players in the Rams defense start playing really well, that's going to open a lot of opportunity up for Aaron. So I hope he gets it, whether it's this season or next season or the season after. I mean, I hope so. I'm realistic in the sense, I guess, that the odds are never there. But if anyone's going to do it, it should be him.
I have 16 to 18. I can't decide. I don't think he's going to have more than 22.5 sacks this year, because that's asking for a lot. I think here's the thing. The reason it's actually not a crazy question is because, first off, we're talking about Aaron Donald. Secondly, he's going to have A'Shawn Robinson next to him, Sebastian Joseph Day, who's improved. They finally have two go-to starters that sat all of preseason. They are the guys. They went into this season knowing they were the guys, and Justin Hollins and Leonard Floyd. I can't believe we were just talking about him all that time. So I feel like with that consistency, that could really help out Donald. Furthermore, they're going to have a lot of depth. I mean, Greg Gaines, Bobby Brown, Michael Hoyt, Jonah Williams. There's a lot of depth there that's going to keep Donald fresh. And, I think that there's a chance, especially with 17 games now, there's a chance that's, it's a little bit more than a sack a game, but, he's crazier things have happened. And if he has, one of those giant 3-4 sack games like he had against the Niners a few years back, it's certainly possible. I'm going to stick around the 16-18 range. But if he gets it, I won't be surprised, so to speak. Stat Padford at NT18. Never forget. What is to be said about Stafford's record and performance against teams with winning records? It has a very Kirk Cousins type feel when a deep dive is done. Would we be as excited with a trade for Kirk Cousins? I'll let you answer that first, and then I will, because I have a lot of thoughts on this for sure.
So is the question asking?
Basically, at the end of the day, would we be as excited with a trade for Kirk Cousins?
Oh, no. No. Okay, no. Kirk Cousins doesn't have the talent that Matthew Stafford has. And Kirk Cousins has not. I don't think Kirk Cousins has ever had the type of talent around him that Matthew Stafford has now. But if you look at what Matthew Stafford had and what Kirk Cousins historically has had, Kirk Cousins has always, for the most part, had more talent around him than Matthew Stafford.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
So,
you could look at, everyone just likes to point out Calvin Johnson, and then of course Golden Tate, and then of course Marvin Jones and Kenny Galladay. But Kenny Galladay was never healthy. Marvin Jones doesn't create a ton of separation. He's a great jump ball guy, but he doesn't create a ton of separation. Golden Tate is, come on now, he's solid, but like he wasn't like amazing. Really, Calvin Johnson is the only one that really stands out to me as like, wow, okay, this guy's legit. Kirk Cousins is throwing to Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, Kyle Rudolph, obviously would have been Irv Smith this year, but he got hurt. Dalvin Cook, it's Deshaun Jackson, Pierre Garcon. There's so many names that he was throwing to. Jamison Crowder, Chris Thompson. To me, like, I feel like stats are starting to be a little meaningless now, or less meaningless, because he had 35 touchdowns and 13 interceptions last year. It's just like, when you look at it, what did that produce for Minnesota? A 7-9 record. As far as Stafford goes, I think Stafford in general is a better quarterback. I think he's better in the pocket. I think he's willing to manipulate the pocket more than a guy like Kirk Cousins. I understand the comparison, but I feel like Kirk Cousins' arm is somewhat limited. I feel like he went to a really good situation in Minnesota and, kind of similar, not really similar, kind of opposite of Stafford. He went to Minnesota with all those weapons, with a good defense, supposedly good coach, and he's gone 8-7-1, 10-5, and 7-9. In my opinion, he went to a team that obviously had just been quarterbacked by Case Keenum to the NFC title game. They haven't come close since. Stafford was with a team that had its ups and its downs, and it's really horrible situation there. And now he's going to, LA. It's like Cousins had already left Washington, but when he was with Washington, he was 9-7 in 2015, 8-7-1 in 2016. 2017 he was 7-9. So it's like he doesn't really do anything, and he's been on two teams, whereas Stafford was on one team his whole career. The organization by far is just run worse than Washington and Minnesota. And so to me, especially Cousins' ability to win in primetime settings, I absolutely would not do. And plus, Kirk Cousins, keep this in mind, very important here, his contract is fully guaranteed. His entire contract is fully guaranteed, whereas Stafford's is not. They have some room to play with. You can restructure, you can do all that. You can't with Cousins, you are paying the full price. So to me, you look at Stafford was with Detroit. He led them to 3 playoff appearances. They lost all 3. The first one, he throws 3 touchdowns, runs in a fourth. They lose 45-28. His second one, they lose on a bad call against Dallas. And the third one, his running back was Zach Zenner, not Dalvin Cook, not Todd Gurley, not Adrian Peterson, not anybody like that. Zach Center. So I don't think that's really fair. Plus, Stafford's had about, I think it's 11 or 12 games in his career in which a running back has gone over 100 yards. I mean, Dalvin Cook is going over 100 yards every week. So I just think it's I understand the question, but no, I wouldn't be as excited with a trade for Kirk Cousins. I would be pretty disappointed. I don't think Kirk Cousins is that much better than Jared Goff, to be honest with you. Goff has gone toe-to-toe with him and has won. So that's what I would say. I think people, and I'm not just saying that Stat Padford is the one, that I'm taking shots at or anything like that, but I think people that are very worried about Stafford are going to be pleasantly surprised and then, subsequently blown away when they see what he can do with this offense. That's what I'll say in that regard. Between Van Jefferson or Tutu, who would you think will have a better year? And that is at Football by Nico.
I think Van Jefferson will have the better year. I think Tutu Atwell is going to be mainly special teams, punt, kick returns, etc. For this season. So I think Van Jefferson is going to see most of that in game action. So if I assume that's what you mean by better year. I think, as far as touchdowns go, receiving yards, that's going to be Van Jefferson.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with Van Jefferson here. I don't think it'll be relatively close. I have Van Jefferson at 611 yards and 10 touchdowns. Going to be utilized a lot one-on-one in the red zone. He showed his ability against Tampa Bay and in the Packers game, just controlled aggression in his route running, can really win one-on-one. They can put him kind of on an island there. With Tutu Atwell, it's going to be a little different because they used him a ton in preseason to get him those reps, because that was signaling to me that they're just not going to use him that much on offense during the season. Tutu Atwell was picked, in my opinion, because they see him to replace a role that they've now created with the Rams. Sean McVay says over and over again, they don't have 3 starting receivers. They have 4. Deshaun Jackson and Van Jefferson are both kind of that third and the fourth. So, when I look at Deshaun Jackson's impact this season, maybe they'll bring him back after the year if he's cheap enough. But if he has another good season or whatever, if he has a really good season, he might be priced out of LA. And if that's the case, the Rams will just roll with Tutu Atwell, because I think that's really what they did. They wanted to get a guy that could replace Deshaun Jackson's deep speed, and I think that's what they're molding Tutu Atwell into. So Tutu Atwell, to me, is a long-term investment. They didn't get him to compete with Van Jefferson this year. I don't even think they're really on the same playing field as far as readiness for the NFL game. But I do, make no mistake about it, I do think Atwell can definitely do some damage in the punt return game. We'll see if he, returns kicks. I don't think he will. I think it'll be Jake Funk. But he'll also be used in jet sweeps and things like that. So you'll see him. It's just going to be a little bit of a rarity with him. I think you're more likely to see Jacob Harris used in the red zone than you are Tutu Atwell used in the offense, during the games. Moving on, we have Loyal Ram 1. When the Rams sweep the NFC West, will Colin Cowherd quit being a blank? So I mean, I guess with that, the talking heads of the NFL media are supposed to say things that will be controversial, that will generate clicks, that will generate retweets, all of that. And so I've been listening to the herd for years, on and off, of course. And I will say that his comments about the Rams feel very much to try to generate controversy and generate talk about the team. I wouldn't put too much stock in it, but yeah, if they do sweep the NFC West, you'll probably hear Colin Cowherd saying he has a segment where Colin was wrong. That'll be on that segment. I
agree. I don't really listen to his stuff other than, what's on social media and highlights and all that. So, I can't speak to that. But yeah, I think a lot of times stuff is kind of said in jest, but also in order to be controversial, to create discussion. So I'm not looking too much into it.
No, I'm not either. But I think that's going to wrap up our show. I just want to get your thoughts on one thing. It has nothing to do with the Rams. It's more NFL centric. What are your thoughts? And this could kind of go a little bit of cowherd, but I think this was said with some passion. What are your thoughts on Keyshawn Johnson putting Derek Carr in the elite category of quarterbacks?
I think everyone is entitled to their opinion. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I think it speaks for itself.
I just, yeah. I mean, what was it? Stephen A said, "Get him out of here." It
I
was
mean,
it was a funny segment, but he was serious. He was very passionate about it.
he was very passionate about it. I think the general public is not seeing what he's seeing. And I'm not trying to hate because I like Carr.
I do too,
But
but
it's
even his brother wouldn't put him that high.
Yeah, it's not it. But
Well, his brother did also have the Raiders beating the Rams in the Super Bowl this year, so I guess he may actually put him that high. But yeah, Keyshawn also has the Rams going third in the NFC West, so we'll see with Keyshawn's. I was just curious to get your thoughts on that because I like Carr, but man, you're really putting on the pressure with Derek Carr. Yeah. Well, I think that's going to do it for our show.
It is. And as always, guys, if you like what you hear, please like and subscribe. You can follow us on social media at Downtown Rams. You can follow me at the Alexis Craft on Twitter. You can follow Jake at JK Bogan. We will be back, obviously, with a preview of the Rams matchup versus the Bears. But until then, stay safe, take care, and go Rams.
Bet with the 3-decade leader, BetUS. Join now for 125% bonus or 200% bonus with crypto using promo code RAMS125. And bet sports, casino, horses, pop culture, and more at betus.com. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code DTR at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and make sure to use code DTR. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.